is what I'm getting the feeling of. But they could still lock it in as Deft. Oh,
Caitlyn.
I love it if he does do it.
Don't do the Kog'Maw. This is not a good idea.
I mean, Kog'Maw's been buffed, but they already have way too much magic damage. So Deft is just going to cycle through a bunch of different picks. I actually don't mind Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal is pretty good here. And you can just pick Rel with it, too.
Oh, Senna is also available. All right.
Senna Kench back at it again. There you go.
Oh, but they had the Scion. Okay, so if KT had have locked in a top laner, this is where I would have been like, oh, but how sick would it have been if they flecked the Scion? But not so much, because it would have still been blind, so it's like a lot of funny business for no actual payoff. That Johan doesn't have that much of a job. So if he's then just going to be on farming duty and trying to do his very best to counter jungle his opposition, which is something Nidalee is very, very good at, then we could see something really cool coming out from Life Esports. But we'll see how they manage to play it out. A Devour at this point in time. Johan is on the bottom side as the Piercing Darkness gets a bit of value, and Gideon's just looking to try and break a potential freeze here towards the bottom side.
They don't know he's here.
Yeah, Spear going to connect there onto Gideon is Johan. I don't know whether you want to run in on this one, buddy, and he is not going to.
If that hits Zeus, that's a kill, you know? I mean, that's what's so terrifying about this stage of the game when Deft is trading aggressively because he knows they have a kill pressure. Speaking of which...
Oh, he got hit by the spear, but Johan not actually going to find the empowered pounce. And now looking to fish with another spear as well, as Gideon knows he has to body block, but this is going to give a lot of space.
Cryo.
If he would like to, I mean, the Scion, he's just going to ult back towards the top lane. So it looks like the Rift Herald will just be taken here. As the Abyssal Voyage, a little bit too late, unfortunately, and Life.
Life are actually going to finally put the...
Yeah, now it's KT's turn to be a little bit late to the party as well, as you can see.
Well, that goes through pretty quickly, but Johan knows this is warded. I mean, he did it himself, so...
Body Slam comes on through as there's the cast to say goodbye to the kitty cat, but Vision's still there. If this spear lands, that is a dead Doran, but it's not going to. And the Body Slam over the wall versus the Oktoberfest boy up here on the top side of the map is quite amusing. There's nothing really much coming from it, as there's the grand entrance. Landing under the kitty cat. Deft there, though, as the Dawning Shadow comes down, but it is still first blood going over to the Olaf. Gideon puts down that reckless swing and collects the Nidalee.
And finally, Zeus gets value. There's gold grand entrance is actually able to get in there because he could actually be farming a lot extra CS in the side lane right now, and he wasn't able to make a play. Now he's trying to look for something back here.
Yep, Doran looking for a little bit of an engage here, but as you can see, it's a fight on two fronts. Doran not quite able to get in there, as the Olaf has to flash to get himself out of the way. Vista is so tanky right now as the cask does basically nothing. Morgan still has his ulti available as another 80 mana comes out there from Doran, and Life Esports shove up the mid lane. They do lose their outer turret, so definitely kudos to KT, but it just feels like slowly but surely, because they're the ones with onus on them, right? As now Doran looking for that other flank opportunity. Deft in pretty good position to avoid it, though, as Morgan, he's just soaking, but I mean, when is Morgan ever going to die? He has Devour, he has Piercing Darkness, he has Primal Surge, he has Command Protect. It's an unkillable Scion problem, Wolf.
Yeah, this is really bad. You can see the Scatter the Weaks feel like they're healing him as, Doran out of position. But here comes the Recon flank I was talking about.
Yep, Zeus, quickness already popped as he gets into the backline. Only knocks up the Tahm Kench, though, as there's the big barrel into the backline. But look, Dawning Shadow and Life Esports say, okay, is that all you got?
That's it.
We're going to take ourselves an Infernal Drake, and we'll bid you adieu.
And that's it, Atlas. I mean, if you don't hit that, that's your one real engage opportunity. This didn't waste any tools here, or they might be in serious trouble.
Yep. And now Morgan just walks towards Gideon. He can't enter the fight as there's a shockwave onto only Doran, who'll get knocked up. Grand entrance is there, but look at Morgan. He can tank this turret for about 5 million years.
Yeah.
He won't need to because the turret won't survive. I mean, I know who I'm voting for. Large lumberjack over ethereal turret thing shooting laser beams or whatever the heck they are.
Or the Recon Canyon, whatever you want to call it. Recon Pathway, because he always tries for it, and if he gets shut down, that's it.
What are you supposed to do? Like, how are KT supposed to siege this? Like,
it's so predictable, everything that they could do.
Like, they can throw a Void Secret, maybe, and Johan's just said, no, Zeus, you're not actually able to flank, you'll just pop.
Yeah, that's
and he 100% will.
He gets hit by a spear, and it's like, well, now you can't even do anything.
And it's like, Deft hasn't even hit critical mass. As there's the Devour in the middle of the cask as the Shockwave says no to the Body Slam. Zeus gets in with the quickness, but where's the follow-up? It does not exist. The Olaf just popped. Dawning Shadow almost picks up 2, and they're unable to make it out. KT have absolutely no answer to Harmon Life Esports right now. It's Infernal Soul time, and if I was Harmon, just go to the Baron, right? Deft will keep you alive, and then wait for them to come to you. As Zeus,
it's not even over.
Back in just a little bit there as Yukal wants to help out the decimating smash, and then the minions take care of it. Morgan, cool guys don't look at explosions. Vista presses Devour because it was up, and you may as well. Sometimes you want to eat a bit of Scion, as this is just so easy for Harmon Life Esports.
These are the first kills of the game, really. I mean, KT had that first kill, but these are the first real team fight front to back, because it makes it a lot more difficult to hit spears here. Once Nilly does rejoin. Oh, getting spread thin.
Yeah, in goes the train. There's the shockwave combo. Immediately the Rakan just explodes. As you can see, Morgan. Yeah, there's nothing you can do to this Scion. It's impossible. There's just no option.
There's nothing you can do. There's
the Baron doing a bit of damage there to Doran. That's what they got from this.
Hybrid pings.
Oh, throw everything in and they steal it! All right, yes, that's what you can do. Okay. The Hail Mary. Just throw it all. Look, sometimes you say things as a commentator and it's gonna throw a team under the bus. Well, and I think I need to apologize to Harmon Life Esports.
I mean, Hybrid here just ticks down the Elder Drake timer. And I don't know if KT are going to get a lucky steal on that one.
Well, Morgan is just standing here in front of 3 people.
He does not care.
Big old shield as the spear is going to miss, unfortunately. In the meantime, Yukal is going to have to flash here towards the top side of the map. And Morgan, I think they almost did A damage to him, but I don't know. Shockwave going to be used onto Hybrid only on the backside. And that means that all of the damage is unavailable. He's been ragdolled through the sky. Flash out once again. And KT, they just have nothing. They can't do anything in these fights. It's so hard.
It's actually
in all of these instances, as the Infernal. Let's see whether Doran can actually do something meaningful here as Deft thrown into the middle of the fight, but unfortunately, Gideon can't really do anything. They do manage to pop him as the Killer Instinct comes into the backline, but have they done enough is the question. Johan gonna have to get out of there. The Devour used onto Chovy. Morgan flashes and stays alive, and look, even though the center isn't there, so much of their damage gone, but it's still hard for KT, and Command Protects are there, the Primal Surge is there, and KT, they don't have the same level of healing that's available for Harmon Life.
They can't actually take this, and they're going to try to back right here. Are you crazy?
Well, there's not a lot of vision. Control Ward does go down, and now Harmon are probably just waiting for KT to back away. Harmon Life, they actually want to win a team fight before they go for this. They want no more of these shenanigans where a bunch of abilities are thrown at them as Morgan presses his ult button and then the Gargoyle Stoneplate. He's tanking a lot as there's a Dawning Shadow. Morgan gets a huge shield as Yukal off to the side. 2-man Shockwave is good onto Zeus and onto Gideon. And Yukal, just nothing that he can do. And it's a war of attrition that Harmon Life Esports are looking to now take advantage of.
No way out of this one, Doran. He's trying his hardest. If he gets slowed one more time. Oh, he just barely dodges the tongue.
Oh man, the scariest lumberjack ever.
But it's, I mean, what?
Slayer not going to do it.
You survive, but so what? Because the Drake is going down. It's going to be Elder Drake here for Harmon Life Esports. The executes are coming. Yeah, looks like they're going to try to trade this for a Baron, but I don't think they have the speed to clear it. And not only that,
it's like, you know, you're playing D&D with your friend and you play randomizer on your character and your friend just rolls all the nat 20s and you get all the ones. Snowball extraordinarily hard in the very early stage of the game. But now it almost looks comical how difficult it is for KT to utilize this comp. As you can see, Morgan, one turret was not enough. He needs to absorb the damage of multiple. As he's just going to run at Yukal here. There's the Shockwave again, and Yukal is obliterated. 0-3 now for the Syndra as Deft picks up a kill from downtown. Now Hybrid desperately trying to do damage, but he just can't. Chovy executes him. And now Gideon, the Olaf, unfortunately just relegated to the fountain. And Harmon Life show us a beautiful example of Draft Kingdom.
Easy peasy.
They'll surround this fountain and demonstrate to KT this is how you're supposed to get it done, and they do so very, very nicely as Morgan amps up his Nexus damage by getting himself killed. That is the sign of a true Scion Lord, as the rest of his team not wanting to actually hit the Nexus at all, so maybe a little bit out of sync, but that's fine. Just having a bit of fun on the enemy fountain. Harmon Life Esports do manage. Look,
Deft.
Yeah, Deft, of course, that's almost 40k damage.
Yeah.
Think about the fact that he's also healing his team and shielding his team while he's doing that damage.
It was an 11 kills to 3 game, but I think 2 of those kills were actually just because of the deaths under the fountain. But Atlas, this was a game where Honda Life Esports also just put everything into this game, saying talking about, and he didn't know what the top lane was going to be, but into the Aatrox, it feels still fairly comfortable as long as his positioning is good.
Oh, man.
Oh, I mean, there you go.
Back into the history books, boys and girls. Lee Sin.
First,
locked away. This is so sad because once again we have to remember that Blank was sent down to Academy.
Yeah.
And Blank's Lee Sin is so good. Oh man, that's it's sad. Let's see whether Gideon is going to be able to live up to that though, because of course this is the first time we've seen it on it so far in the LCK, and maybe he's just a pocket Lee Sin god. As Vista's going to lock away the Leona. We'll have to see how that one is going to go, as once again Leona into Thresh.
This is going to be so hard. KT will start playing this draft on hard mode again.
Yep, it is. It's really tough. That being said, I mean, Lee Sin does have a very clear job in this game, right? Varus is very susceptible to being booted out of a team fight.
Couldn't be more opposite of each other that he's very great at.
It's interesting, yeah. I feel like Morgan isn't necessarily a playstyle master. He's a champion master.
Yes.
Right? He learns how champions are supposed to be played well, but I'm glad that you talk about his weak side, because his weak side has been very, very good. As the Q lands from Gideon, but Chovy gets here. The pounce out from Johan has to flash to break the chains. As Yukal trying to get on over here, Dissonance, just to try and bully Chovy away. So Gideon will be able to pick up this Rift Scuttler. As now Chovy, without a lot of mana left available, Primal Surge will get his health bar back up as Q is going to connect. In goes Gideon, but out he goes again.
Briar's Bloom confirms that she's there. They had every single angle covered, and now he's going to look to force a flash out of Chovy.
Yeah, he is going to be able to dash away. Gets underneath the turret. Oh no! Just barely unable to grab that kill after the flash. Still successful, I guess. Even though their draft did make it narrow, they're playing it so nicely. We're going to have a look at this one yet again.
Yeah,
Gideon
he predicts the dash.
Yeah, predicts it beautifully.
He predicts the dash and unfortunately misses the last auto, which means that he doesn't die. So again,
no, I actually really like it as Vista. He's going to get that Shield of Daybreak onto Noah. That's exactly who he wants to hit. But now he's going to have to rely on the Eclipse to keep him alive. Chakram's doing a fair bit of work here as KT taking some control on the bottom side. Decent piercing arrow there from Deft, but you're not really going to wrestle back control by taking that action, especially when there's no mana. Now Gideon's lying in wait. No kick available, but there is still so much damage potential as Deft just going to try and walk past him. Q connected already, though, and it should be just first blood. Very comfortably taken, as Gideon will be able to pick this one up. And look, as Johan's level 6 and Gideon's level 6 as well.
Yukal's looking for it.
Yep.
So predictable.
It's going to be so easy, man. I don't know.
Like, how do you not see
set up this lane so beautifully?
He saw him on the Raptors. They knew he was there. You can't walk forward like that. This is just an uncharacteristic mistake from Chovy. Like, if I could see that play coming
really fast, you're just going to win by default. But that is not Harm Alive, as now we're going for a 2v2 kill on the bottom side, and so easily Harm Alive do manage to take that one down. This is the level 6 power spike, right? One of the reasons why Harm Alive Esports can breathe a little easier is there's a flash forward. Zenith played first. You love to see it as Chovy grabs himself the kill, and that one was personal.
That was so well handled by Honda Life Esports. Just see blood in the water, you commit. You are absolutely ready for the flash there. Vista just had his finger on the trigger.
Oh, there's
Where
the
are you at?
That is going to find him, and Johan just executes him with a spear. Home alive. They've come alive. For KT, everything was going so well, but now, I mean, Zeus is still halfway towards the lane, and this Rift Herald is just going to be one of the saddest we've ever seen.
And that was what I was going to say right before that skirmish popped up. I was like, yeah, you got the Rift Herald, but you didn't. You know the other thing, too, about that. Oh,
Shockwave. Gideon's
here we go,
once again. But Relentless Pursuit, one hell of an ability, and the culling
Thorin, though,
is going to come through. Yep, but there's a train here as well, and they're going to turn it. Immediately, Gideon gets executed, and it's such a fine line they're treading. Chains of Corruption coming down here. Death completely runs out of mana, and Vista is just dead. Too many chakrams, and Noah also has Severum available, so there was no way the Leona was surviving that.
I mean, look, I'm not religious. I don't believe in curses. I don't have any sort of
Johan? Noah?
Oh, man.
Teleport? Q? Okay.
There you go,
going to get them out. Okay, Spear is going to connect as Chovy. He's angry.
He doesn't have his ult. They should be okay.
Oh, Spear. Whoa. That would have been death, I think. It's such an explosive lane. Varus and Leona. Speaking of Leona, she is going to kill Yukal. I saw the shockwave for a moment, but it was not real.
You can't
There's
be here,
the
Gideon!
Kick back onto Vista. Gideon safeguards himself to relative safety, but that's going to mean that that pressure is all but done.
Second Rift Herald, not going to get value here.
Yes, you find the Scion.
I guess so, you know.
Well, Shirley also going to be put down a long way up the lane as there's the cleanse. That does get Noah to relative safety, but Harmelite, ooh, Chains of Corruption miss. Unfortunate for Deft as the hook is going to connect there onto Morgan. His ulti does absolutely nothing, but Chovy buys a lot of space with that culling. It's a very expensive back massage if you're paying in health bar. Harmalife will now just continue putting that pressure on as Chovy dashes forward. Zeus just gets popped. That's the power of the Gale Force. It's a fadeaway shockwave. Does absolutely nothing relevant. And KT, I think, will just have to give up the soul point here as Johan will just pounce over this wall. And Vista is looking for Doran on the potential flank. But yeah, it just feels like the use by date is a little bit up here for KT. And we do have to praise them for how they played out the early game. But unfortunately, it just was too little.
Yeah, there's a point where if Johan was at 2/3 health or less, like you could make a play. But now he's down so significantly in this game that he just can't kill anybody by himself, and he can't team fight. Looking for a kick.
Yep, Morgan is going to get kicked back. He's down to 50% health. Moonlight Vigil does come out as Gideon almost gets murdered by his Scion, but thankfully the rest of his team is there, and Aphelios is going to be able to pick up that kill. Morgan tidies up these minions. Chovy should be able to just grab this. Solar Flare gets himself the slow, and then the Zenith Blade is so easy. Yukal having an unfortunate series thus far, unfortunately. Of course, I just triggered myself as thankfully a team fight did break off after that. My brain may have just melted for Yukal.
A lot of resources used here for Hanwha Life.
This is the poke that we're talking about, is Chovy just dashing in and around everything. Gale Force to get him out to safety, and Johan lands the spear! That's what we want from this guy as Chovy gets around the back, has to flash, goes golden to avoid the Sonic Wave as Johan's here, has the heal for Chovy as well, but he will be taken down. Yukal now in trouble off the back end, but the piercing arrow is not going to connect, and Vista in a bit of trouble. Johan flashes out, now pounces onto Johan, executes him! Is this why? Is this the Johan we've been waiting for? There's now Doran trying to dive on in, another Primal Surge for a massive health boost. And Morgan still feeling pretty unkillable as he gets pulled back. And another arrow is going to connect. The poke comp that's just doing battle right now, and the flash on in. You had no right of being there, Noah, unfortunately. The Arc has left, and Hanwha Life Esports are just looking for Doran.
They really overstayed their welcome here. But with this composition, I mean, there's a...
Oh, no, he read him like a book.
Easy peasy.
Down by Deft as well. Noah wanting to be the hyper carry that we know the Aphelios can be, is yes, takes the land at the right time. Morgan, though, he just looks unkillable. Zeus in trouble as Deft once again charging up the piercing arrow. How much work's it going to do with Noah? Down to about half. Morgan somehow surviving. Even the chakrams just bounce off that metal body of this Scion.
That was insane. He tanked so much damage. It was absolutely absurd by a solar flare from Vista. And so there's actually a lot of heal for Morgan. So even though they almost kill him, like there's no way to turn.
Chains of Corruption. And Noah, he's getting targeted here by Deft. He just wants to get him out of here as the Baron. It was a bit of an afterthought there, as you can see, as Doran looking for a bit more of a fight, but Zeus, he ain't going to be participating in this one. The rest of the team do find Doran, who's just trying to be a hero. There's not really too much of an option as Morgan gets kicked back. That's a lot of damage. He's got a big old health bar as Solar Flare collects 2 from Vista. Gideon desperately wants the lantern, but Zeus unfortunately actually breaks it.
Yeah, yourself with no one else there, and your health goes down to 20% instantly. You've got a lot of healing, but you need to have follow-up. This game is over.
Yeah, it certainly is. The pick, the poke, it's just too much of a problem here as somehow Yukal mid-flash gets executed by Chovy, who's very upset with how the early game went and made sure that he got some revenge. But I just can't stop thinking about how good Johan has been throughout this whole game, throughout the series, to be perfectly honest. We're getting a real idea as to why he was subbed in over Arthur, and I'm really glad that we finally have. I feel like I had a lot of criticism for this guy, but damn, now we know. And Hanwha Life Esports looking good as they march towards the playoffs.
Massively favored in it. However, they played it as if it was like the finals. Like they played so safely in general, especially in game 1, where they could have actually pushed the issue, I think, a little bit earlier and actually tried to push their advantages, but they just were not willing to take any risks whatsoever. And here are our post-game stats, Atlas. I mean, Hanwha Life Esports ran away with the game. Once we hit that 13-minute mark, that is when things really started to blow up.